This is Jabari Walker, and you're listening to The Briefcase with Casey Holdahl.
Greetings, Blazer fans, and welcome to The Briefcase, episode 105 of The Briefcase. I'm your host, Casey Holdahl, and the Portland Trail Blazers are 1-1 after 2 games at the Las Vegas Summer League. First game, not so great start versus the Spurs on Saturday, but a bounce-back win with a great performance versus the 76ers on Monday. Wins aren't all that important at Summer League. It's really more about how you play, and the Blazers, I would say after their first quarter at the Summer League, have played some pretty good basketball and have played some improving basketball, which I think goes a long way towards showing the growth that they've made already at Summer League and the growth that you would hope that they would continue to make as they continue out their run here in Las Vegas. We'll hear from Donovan Clingan after his performance versus the 76ers, briefly discuss Duop Reath and what is going on with Team Australia. Betting on the Blazers is back, which makes sense since we're here in Las Vegas, and we'll hear from Kris Murray about his offseason and Summer League on this edition of The Briefcase. Well, the Blazers sitting at 500 after 2 games at the Las Vegas Summer League. They started their run here in Las Vegas on Saturday with an 83-70 loss to the Spurs, a game that Portland was down by as many as 20 points, rallied in the second half, particularly in the fourth quarter, to give themselves a chance to win that game. That wasn't the case, however. Blazers ended up falling in that game, as I mentioned, 83-77 Saturday night in their first game here in Las Vegas. In that game, Alex Reese led the Portland Trail Blazers with 16 points, 3 rebounds, 2 blocks, and a steal in 13 minutes. Raul Repairs shook off a terrible start to finish with 13 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals in 32 minutes. Justin Minaya, who I think has been one of Portland's most consistent performers through minicamp, practices, and here in the first 2 games in Las Vegas, 12 points, 4 steals, 3 assists, 2 rebounds in 19 minutes. And Donovan Clingan struggled on the offensive end, finished with just 4 points on 1 of 8 shooting, but had 13 rebounds, 5 blocks, assist, and a steal. And really at this point in time, Donovan's impact is going to be felt on the defensive side of the ball. So not exactly surprising to see him come out and struggle a little bit offensively through the first couple games here in Las Vegas. But the Blazers selected Donovan Clingan with the 7th overall pick because of his defensive versatility and what he can do on that side of the ball. And Donovan absolutely delivered on that in Portland's second game of the Summer League. A thrilling 97-95 victory versus the 76ers Monday night at Thomas Mack Arena. Much better energy to start that game than the Blazers had in the first game. That's what they talked a lot about after that first game, was that, the Spurs really jumped on them early, and there's really nothing the Portland Trail Blazers could do to get back into that game. Granted, they did make a game of it towards the end, but never really got the sense that Portland was going to win that first game. The 76er game, however, Portland was trailing by 2 late in the game. Donovan Clingan gets a block on a Jared McCain 18-footer to get the possession back to the Trail Blazers while they're down 1. Bryce McGowan gets fouled, gets a trip to the line, makes 2 free throws. The 76ers end up getting the ball back with a chance to at least tie the game, if not win the game. But after advancing the ball, Jared McCain couldn't get the ball past Donovan Clingan, who was doing everything in his power to make himself big, give no angles for Jared McCain to pass the ball inbounds. He wasn't able to do that. 5-second call. Trailblazers end up winning that game by 1. And one of the main reasons they were able to get that victory is because of their late game defense, particularly from Donovan Clingan, making 2 huge defensive plays in order to cement that game for the Trailblazers, which is exactly what you want to see out of Donovan Clingan at Summer League. Points don't matter. It'd be nice, but they really don't matter at this point in time in his career. What you want to see from Donovan Clingan is that defensive intensity, the ability to defend the rim, the ability to keep players out of the paint. And that's something we've seen over and over and over again through the first 2 games at Summer League. It's just the way that he affects offensive players while he's in the paint. He might not necessarily get the block, might not necessarily get the steal, but he's having an effect on the way that players are coming into the paint when he's in there. And that's something that, the Blazers have seen throughout the years against great defensive centers. And so far, at least through 2 games here in Las Vegas, we have seen that out of Donovan Clingan, which at 20 years old is a very good sign for him going forward. As we talked about after the Trailblazers drafted Clingan with the 7th overall pick, is that really Portland has known they've needed to get better on the defensive side of the ball for a while now. And they've tried to do it with scheme, haven't always necessarily had the personnel. But in this draft, they went out and got a player who they feel like can have an absolute impact on that side of the ball throughout his career. Donovan Clingan, one of those guys, showing that through the first 2 games here in Las Vegas. Bryce McGowan, who recently signed a 2-way contract with the Trailblazers, led Portland with 20 points, 2 assists, and 2 rebounds in 20 minutes. 15 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals for Justin Minaya, who had a great dunk in that game as well. And again, Justin looking very good through the first couple games here in Las Vegas. 10 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists for Kendi Chandler, who got the start versus the 76ers Monday night. Kris Murray, who we're going to hear from here in a moment, 12 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block in 32 minutes. Yao-Man work for Kris Murray, which is what we've come to expect out of him. And then Donovan Clingan, 8 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 blocks in 24 minutes. Donovan's effect on that game goes far beyond the box score. If you watch that game on NBA TV, particularly in the fourth quarter, you saw him make all kinds of plays, affecting plays that might not have showed up on the box score, but that absolutely led to the victory for the Trailblazers. He also had the first, I would say, real great highlight for the Trailblazers at Summer League, a poster dunk on a Dembona, who then got one back on him on the next possession, but then Justin Minaya got one as well on the possession after that. Play before, Donovan was frustrated because he got called for a foul, decided that he was basically going to put his head down, get to the rim, and finish strong, which he absolutely did. First time we've really seen Donovan kind of put the ball on the floor around the three-point line and get to the rim, at least with the Trailblazers, that is. So all around, a great bounce-back game for the Trailblazers, a great game for the Trailblazers in general. It was close. They executed late in order to get the win. They made plays on the defensive side of the ball. All the kind of things you want to see from this young Trailblazer team, and definitely what you want to see out of Donovan Clingan in his fledgling days as an NBA pro. So let's go ahead and hear from Donovan Clingan after Portland's victory versus the 76ers Monday night in their second game at the Las Vegas Summer League.
Well, Donovan, how would you feel like the team performed tonight, and how do you feel like you performed tonight, particularly in contrast to the first game?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the team looked really good tonight. The way that we took care of the ball much better. Much sharper passes. Wasn't really turning the ball over. We're knocking down shots. Making those extra passes, making those great reads. And something about today. We started playing from the jump. Last game I feel like they punched us in the face early, and we weren't able. We took us a while to bounce back. But today we were able to, just start from the jump and keep it going.
Following up on last game, asked you what you were happy about. You said nothing. What were you happy about with your own game tonight?
I feel like I protected the rim, at a high level. A couple less illegal screens today. I know I had one, and as soon as I set the screen, I knew it was illegal. But I feel like fouls. I had a couple less fouls today. I great reads on the offensive end. I feel like I had a couple good passes that to my open teammates cut into the basket. And I was just trying to be the best defender and help my team win.
On the subject of the passes, the 5 assists tonight, is the playmaking something you were kind of hoping to show while you were out here this week?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the biggest things that I feel like, something that people really can't realize, don't realize something that, I could do at a high level is, play make and pass the ball. I feel like I could see things before they happen, and, I could just make certain reads on defenses, and, I just really just try to make the right pass.
You want that dunk on Bona?
What was that again?
You really wanted that dunk on Bona?
Yeah, I mean, I needed a dunk to just, get my energy up, get my confidence up, and I feel like that was it.
That inbounds pass you had definitely helped the outcome of this game, or that inbounds violation that you had. Just how much pride did you take in that moment?
A lot. I feel like we've been working on that in practice and camp, all last week, just working on those late game situations. And, I feel like, the coaches never called them, even though I feel like I had a couple 5-second violations in practice, but they never called them. But I got one today when it mattered.
Kind of the same idea, the block, too, at late in the game. How comfortable are you switching out onto the perimeter and defending for it?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, it's really just trying to play the best defense possible for the team, just trying to, the coaches I feel like are trying to, force those mid-range shots and, force people to get, just inside the three-point line. And, my job is to protect that paint and protect that rim.
You mentioned that dunk gave you some energy. You looked noticeably like you were a little gassed last game. This game, you look like you were a lot fresher. Yeah. Do you think just kind of getting that first game out of the way allowed you to kind of...
Yeah, I feel like I had, those... All right. I feel like, I was... that first game, I was a little nervous. I don't know if I was nervous. Like, I was, just that first game, the jitters. But today I changed my mindset coming into this game. Just had a stronger mindset. Just realized I had to dominate my opponent, help my team win, and I just went in there with a whole lot of confidence. Thank you.
So there you go. Some great stuff from Donovan Clingan there. He was not very happy, as you would probably expect after the first game. Much more jovial after the second game, though still a guy who you can tell, like, he really wants to do everything just right. And that's something you love to see out of your young players. Mistakes are going to get made, and so those are the kind of things, too, where you got to kind of roll with the punches a little bit. But you love a young player not being satisfied unless he's doing his absolute best. And I think that's one of the reasons why they were so excited to get Donovan Clingan in the first place. It's just because of his mentality, the way he approaches the game, his competitive nature, and the way that he's always pushing himself to get better. Very strong start to the Las Vegas Summer League, to his Portland Trailblazers career for Donovan Clingan. And the Trailblazers continue their run here in Las Vegas for at least 3 more games. Next up, Tuesday, first the Washington Wizards, 5:30 start time on NBA TV. Alexander Sarr on that team as well. If he plays in that game, probably another good matchup between him and Donovan Clingan. Sarr really, I think, probably projects as more of a power forward at this point in time. Definitely a different style of big man than Donovan Clingan, so that'll be an interesting matchup if both those players end up playing on Tuesday night. Once again, 5:30 start time, NBA TV. Real quick, we're going to be checking in on your Portland Trailblazers who are playing internationally at the Olympics this summer, and as of right now, it's just Duop Reath after Matisse Thybulle was cut from the Australian national team. But Duop, in a friendly versus Team USA on Monday, just playing 2 minutes, did not start, got 1 rebound, didn't log any other stats. Duop has been starting for the Australian national team, so I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. Not sure if it's maybe an injury issue. Not sure if they're maybe changing up the rotation. Team USA almost got beat by the Boomers, so they were able to pull out a 98-92 victory. It'll be interesting to see whether or not Duop plays in Australia's friendly versus Serbia on Wednesday. If he does, you kind of assume that maybe they were just resting him or maybe it was just something minor. If he doesn't, then I think you kind of start to wonder, what is his status going into the Olympics? Granted, Olympics a few weeks away, so if it is something injury related, and I have no intel on this whatsoever, this is just me reading the tea leaves, then perhaps he's got some time there. If not, perhaps he's just going to Paris and not playing a whole lot. Again, the Australians have had success before with both Matisse and Duop. So a little surprised that, at least with Matisse, they decided to go a different direction. Hopes that's not the case with Duop, though we'll have to wait to find out. Once again, Australia playing Serbia on Wednesday. I think that game is on ESPN, but I think it's also maybe in the middle of the night. I think I saw maybe like 2 a.m. Actually, I don't know when it is, but it's supposed to be on ESPN, so maybe check that out. As I mentioned, perfect time to have the folks here in Las Vegas release some of the over-unders for the upcoming NBA season. Some of them haven't been released yet because of trade rumors, but that's not the case for the Trailblazers. The roster is pretty much set. There might be some things happening here and there, but folks in Vegas obviously don't think that's going to be the case because they released Portland's win total, which is set at 22.5 wins this season. Only the Brooklyn Nets have a lower projection at 19.5 wins, though the Wizards, who once again the Trailblazers play on Tuesday here in Las Vegas, also have a 22.5 over-under. The Blazers won 21 games at 23-24, so upping that just a little bit going into 24-25. And while I guess it's possible that the folks here in Vegas feel like the Trailblazers are improved, I think another part of that is that there's so many teams, I think, this year that are looking to this draft that I think the folks here in Las Vegas are assuming that when we get to the end of the season, maybe some teams not trying as hard to get wins as they might otherwise. The Blazers are also 1,000-1 to win the championship and 500-1 to win the West and to win the Northwest Division. Another line released, Donovan Clingan is plus 1,500 to win Rookie of the Year, which is the 7th best odds. Zach Edey is actually the current frontrunner at plus 600. These are the kind of things we track all year long on the briefcase. And a reminder, as always, that anything betting on the Blazers is just for entertainment purposes. I'm not giving you any betting advice. I will never give you any betting advice. Do not take any advice from anyone on my behalf. I do hope you win, but I can't give you any tips on how you should go about doing that. And finally, let's go ahead and hear from Kris Murray, who I talked to after Portland's practice Sunday afternoon. Kris and I had a great conversation about what he's been working on in the offseason, getting his body right going into his second season, how one practices defense, which is where Kris really feels like he's going to make the most strides this season, playing at his second summer league and how it's different this time around, building camaraderie, and downplaying his golf game. Really enjoyed talking to Kris. Really appreciate the time. Here's what he had to say after practice on Sunday on the campus of UNLV. All right, we're here with Kris Murray after practice here in Las Vegas, Trailblazers 2024 Las Vegas Summer League. Kris, just in general, how would you say the run-up to the Summer League went for the team in terms of the practices and your preparation as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's been competitive all camp, so try to bring that competitiveness into these games and just kind of progress. I mean, we started off tough first half yesterday and then just kind of worked our way back. We kind of noticed some things at halftime. Turnovers were a big problem. Paint touches were a big problem, so we worked on that in the second half and got a lot better, was able to kind of condense the lead and give us a chance. So just take what we learned from yesterday into these next few games, and I'm confident in us and confident that everyone's going to have a good summer league.
Obviously, there's only one game in, but how would you say that this summer league has been different for you from last year?
It's a lot different because I'm in more of a kind of a leadership role with these guys. Like I've been around for a year, kind of seen a lot so far, and I'm just taking my experience and just kind of help me in the summer league. And for me, it's just kind of do the things that coaches are going to want from me: run the floor, cross the glass, just kind of do the little things to help us win, and just make shots and just play within my game.
And I think that's an important part, too, particularly at Summer League, because I think a lot of times guys maybe feel like we'll have to do more. But it really seems like the point is to get better for the season. And if that's the point, you want to do the things at Summer League that you are going to do during the season.
Yeah, I think people get caught up in stats a lot of times. And, I mean, that's a big thing. You're not just Donovan, for example, didn't play well offensively yesterday, but he did a lot of good things for us. He set really good screens, got a lot of guys open, protected the paint for us, and that's huge. That's what we need. And like offense is obviously going to come, but it's the little things that matter. And like stats, I mean, a lot of guys who play well in summer league sometimes may not be on an NBA roster, and that's kind of the hard thing about it. But it's kind of the little things that you do, and I kind of try to take stats out of it, and just kind of what I show is kind of how I progress in my conditioning, my defense, working on that. I just see progress. Like my shot feels probably as good as it's ever been, and just playing confident on both ends of the ball. So just kind of showing that in summer league is what I wanted to do.
I think when people talk about offense, you talk about working on your shot, working on kind of your ball handling. When you're working on defense, when you're trying to get better defensively, what are some of the things that you do to try to really emphasize that side of the ball and improve on that side of the ball?
Yeah, I think it started towards the end of last year, just kind of getting out of my comfort zone. Like I was someone who used to like kind of sit back, so now I'm just trying to attack the ball a little bit more and be a better on-ball defender. Work my way through screens. Screen navigation is huge in this league, especially with all the screens you kind of have to fight through, especially with how good the centers are now. So that's been big for me, and just those extra efforts that don't show up on the box score is kind of what I want to do.
I assume those are kind of things you guys maybe talk about when you're doing film too, because again, like post-game we ask you about your shot, wins, losses, but when you're doing the film study or when you're trying to figure out ways to improve, what do you look at defensively, I guess?
Yeah, just my positioning. Yeah. A lot of it's just communication too. A couple laps of communication kind of can screw you up and give someone a wide open look. So communication is going to come. Like we've been playing together for a week, so it's definitely new and something that we'll be working on and we'll get better at throughout summer league. But I mean, yeah, that's kind of the biggest thing in film. And I mean, for me, crashing glass is a big thing. And like I crashed 23 times yesterday. Didn't have one ball bounce my way on the offensive glass. So sometimes it's just the way the ball bounces. And I mean, we're due for one of these games for it to all bounce our way and for us to have some good luck.
And part of it, too, is, I mean, I know you guys always want to win, but it's really about getting better at Summer League. So how do you balance knowing that, like, hey, we're maybe trying to do some things we wouldn't maybe necessarily do because we are trying to improve, while also you guys are competitors. You want to win, and you don't like to lose, and you don't like to get down 20 points like you did in that first game.
I mean, yeah, that's the worst feeling for me. Like, I always want to win. Like, I take losses. Like, even when we lose in the NBA, I take these losses the same as that. Like, it means a lot to me still. And, I want to win everything, any game we play, and I think everyone does. And that's the biggest thing is, like, if your team has success in Summer League, like, you'll have individual success too, and guys will get opportunities. And everyone here has a great opportunity to kind of have every single team in the NBA look at you up close. And so the better we play, the better chance these guys have at just getting better opportunities.
How would you say it's gone in terms of kind of the camaraderie? You're not together for a lot of time, even though, some of the guys are already. How does that process go of welcoming guys in and learning how guys play and also who they are as people and navigating that in a short time period?
Yeah, it's definitely tough just in a short time, but we've had a cookout, we have a team event tonight, so just getting to know these guys it's been cool. Basketball's kind of a small world, so you kind of cross paths with these guys through pre-draft, through college, high school, whatever it is, and it's a really small world. So some of the guys I know a little bit before, and some of the guys on our roster have known some of the new guys that have came in, and but yeah, just building team chemistry and just getting familiar with each other's game has been important. And you kind of progress in camp, and hopefully it progresses even more towards the end of summer league.
You mentioned the event. I know you guys are going to Top Golf, and I know that you're quite a scratch golfer, as I understand it. You feel like anyone can come at you?
No? Not a scratch golfer. I know what I'm doing. Played a lot of golf this summer, but no, it's fun. Top Golf is always really fun for me. Anytime I can hit a golf ball, it's cool because it helps me just kind of take my mind off of basketball a little bit, but also kind of keeps me in that sport mentality. So it's definitely just fun, just going there to get to know the guys, hang out for a few hours, and just enjoy our time together.
Broader, how would you say the offseason has gone for you, and what are you maybe looking to do after Summer League gets over?
Yeah, offseason's been good. I've been in Portland basically the whole entire offseason, just working on my game. I've gotten stronger, put on about like 5 to 10 pounds of good weight. Just real confident in my body. Just worked on my shot a lot. Worked on my finishing. Just a lot of different things that can just help me throughout the year. And that coach is going to want from me. So just trying to harness those skills. And after Summer League, I want to put on about 5 more pounds after that and just get stronger, get ready for preseason, and just kind of complete my game and do whatever I can to get in the rotation this year and help us win some games.
Great stuff there from Kris. Great perspective, as always. And, again, he's a guy who is a little bit older as well, so taking on a leadership role probably feels like it makes some sense for him here at Summer League. I know that the team has probably approached him and said, hey, Kris, if you could help some of these guys out, we really appreciate it. I know that's something that he wanted to do, and I think he's doing a great job of it here in Las Vegas. And a guy who I think we are seeing is someone who can just do a whole lot of different things on the court. Kris has already made a lot of progress since being drafted last season. I expect he's going to continue doing that this season as he takes on more and more of a role. Kris, too, I feel like Kris probably made as much growth last season as anyone else in the team. First month or so of the season, I don't know if Kris was going to play at all. As it got further and further into the year, you started looking at it and saying, they probably need to find Kris more minutes now. So great to see Kris really working on his game, staying in Portland all year long to improve his game. Every time that I've been at the practice facility this offseason, Kris Murray has also been there, blasting country music and getting shots up. Really looking forward to seeing what Kris can do this year. Really rooting for him. He's a great guy, always willing to engage, always willing to help. And those are the kind of guys who it's really easy to hope to have success. And that's going to do it for this edition of The Briefcase. Thanks so much for joining me. As always, more editions here in Las Vegas as Trailblazers continue on the NBA 2K Las Vegas Summer League. That's what I think we're supposed to call it. Another game on Tuesday. Then they wrap up their group stage play on Friday before either qualifying for the tournament, which, having already lost one game, makes it pretty unlikely they're going to be one of the 4 teams that ends up playing in the quote-unquote tournament. But even if they don't make the tournament, they'll still have one more game after that, probably on Saturday and Sunday. But that's a long way off. In the interim, please consider liking and subscribing wherever you get your podcasts or wherever you watch your YouTube podcasts. I guess it'd be YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me on this edition of The Briefcase. We'll talk to you later on this week. I'm Casey Holdahl. Go Blazers.